merge the two together. So moving to a limited control. So what is a limited control capture? Well, it's similar to a controlled capture in the fact that it's normally another hotel or it's some sort of conference center. But the difference is it's usually in like a developing country or a very rough facility. And the problem with that is unstable power. Most of the time, I was in India, for example, doing one where we'd lose power 3-4 times a day. And so when you're using unstable power, that becomes a big issue because then it forces you to be very self-reliant and you have to bring your own power with you. Again, limited lighting. The lighting a lot of times can be very harsh or flicker even, which is very distracting. So we have to deal with that as well. Again, bringing our own light or trying to use the best setup we can with the available light. Also, preparation time becomes very high when we start getting into the limited control scenarios because, again, you have to factor in so many different things that could go wrong, and chances are they probably will. So this is just an example. This is the room in India, for example. So I don't know if you can see in the very top corners up here are these little lights. These were horrible fluorescent lights that they had that would just constantly flicker and create like a strobe effect almost. And we'd lose power in this building probably about 4 times a day. So everything was run, battery operated and so forth, just to try to get us through it. So when, even if the power went down, we could still be recording. Some of the issues, again, variable conditions. You never really know what you're getting until you get there. A lot of times when we're setting up and planning out these projects, we don't really know what our facility is going to be until we actually set foot inside of there. So that can be a pretty big issue. Again, can't rely on the power. For these type of setups, usually it's only one camera. Again, we might have 2, depending. It just totally depends on the actual client, what they want out of it. But again, it's on battery power. Still using a tripod, still trying to get the best video possible. Laptops on battery power. Usually, in a case like this, we don't have any kind of setup audio system, so that means we're relying on our wireless mics, which has its own set of problems with the actual frequency, having disruptions with that, or just having actual power, making sure wireless mics, batteries don't die, and so forth. So then moving on to the third arena is our field capture. And the field capture, personally, I think is one of the most fun because you're out there, you're doing it, you're experiencing everything, but it has a lot of drawbacks to it, a lot of issues. So a field capture is usually on location. That can be either domestic or abroad. But that usually means you're out there. So you have no control over the conditions. And that can be very hazardous to yourself and to the actual equipment. No power available. So all your power has to be self-supplied. So you have to make sure you have lots of battery backup, lots of, you can even bring a generator if the scenario allows for that. And you're usually stuck with only available light unless you are fortunate enough to have enough people and enough equipment to actually bring some lights out in the field. So usually when we do these type of captures, it's usually one person. It's usually myself or one other person. If we're lucky, we've got 2. So a lot of times you're stuck just with using available light, which is not very ideal. So this is just like a real quick screen capture of, this is from the shoot in Rwanda. And so this was an example out in the field. There's a lecture being given out in the field to local farmers, and we're trying to capture that. Again, some real simple issues that we deal with, weather conditions. They change rapidly. You never know what's going to happen. That can lead, obviously, to damage to your equipment, which is never good. And a lot of times there's physical limitations. Crawling over, logs, climbing up mountains, and going through swampy areas and stepping in raw sewage a lot of times, which is never fun. Yeah, the glamorous part, So for the setup when we try to do these, it's normally just one camera in this case, obviously on battery. Tripod if possible. Sometimes the terrain or the way in which this is set up, it's just not feasible to always pull out a tripod and set up. A lot of times, and sometimes it's even a physical limitation of actually being crammed into a corner so much that we don't even have the equipment with us to set up a tripod. And normally we're always on a wireless mic in this instance. There's very rarely would we do anything other than that. So doing all these, we've done now. I've done like 4 of these international style ones with varying success, and we've learned some things when it all goes wrong. And believe me, it does. So batteries. It seems that time after time, when you depend on them the most is when they fail. Have as many of them as you can, and make sure that you test them, because batteries seems to be one of the biggest weaknesses in our experiences anyway, as far as capturing stuff out in the field. Laptop problems. Your laptop will freeze. It'll freeze at the worst time possible. It's just going to happen. It's kind of like it's Murphy's Law, and it seems to be, it never fails. So the biggest thing that I can stress is to plan ahead for equipment failure. You should be going through this, as you're setting up, as you're preparing, that you should plan for every single piece of your equipment to fail so that you know when it does, what are you going to do in the field? Because a lot of times these are events that are happening one time. You don't get to say, stop, let me restart this and do it over. It's just going to keep going. So you need to have an idea in the back of your head when something does fail, what do you do about it? Because the last thing you want to be is in a scenario where all of a sudden your wireless mic batteries drop out and now you start to panic because you're not getting any audio and that you're missing the entire reason that you flew halfway around the world for in the first place. And the key thing to remember, it's not if your equipment fails, it's when your equipment fails. Now, obviously, the more expensive equipment you get will help with this, I think, but it's still a matter of just when. So be prepared. And how do you prepare? Practice, practice, practice. Use your equipment, pull it out time after time, set it up, go through the process, go over it again, and when you think you've mastered it, go over it one last time, because chances are when you know your equipment inside and out, when you're in the field and stuff goes wrong, you'll know better how to actually fix it or kind of roll with it and make adjustments so you can keep going on the fly. So if we have time, this is just a quick little video that was put together, just of behind the scenes of our last trip to China. So this is a nice controlled environment that we were shooting in.
Coca-Cola in 3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, just want to go over real quick. We're here on location in Shanghai, China, doing our lecture capture. Right now, I'll kind of walk you through our setup, what we got right here. We've got our big video camera here set up with dual audio inputs. We've got both the English version and the Mandarin Chinese version coming in here. So we'll be recording both audio tracks simultaneously that we can then separate them out later to go with the video. Along with our video camera, we've got 2 different laptops set up, both set up to record both the English version and the Chinese version of the actual PowerPoints that the presenters are going to be going over. This morning we kind of made a last-minute game change, and we kind of altered the way we're going to do this. We decided to go with a more secure setup, and that's running the actual audio hardline right into the camera. Previously, what we were going to do was going to have the 2 different cameras running redundantly, running into the laptops as they record in Camtasia. Due to some issues with Camtasia and the fact that they don't really support that, it makes it a little unstable, so we decided to go with a more traditional, a little more safe method, or whatever. So hopefully everything will go smooth today, and yeah, see ya, on the backside. Rod!
Alright, so here I am. I'm going to pretend to be Sean here for a second and doing some videotaping. And so I just want to say hi to MSU Global. We're doing good here, eating lots of interesting foods. And we've got everything all figured out. Everything's all calm, and we're confident. And we got the game plan going on, as Sean likes to say. So we're doing good.
We're good to go. Finishing up the workshop capture here. Everything went smoothly. We've got roughly about 20 hours worth of video that we now have to go back and edit and do all that business. So the easy part's over. But yeah, everything went well. We ended up going with our backup capture plan, and so that's pretty much it. So, we'll get back to it. Shanghai, in the second tallest building in the world, apparently. Up here on the 100th floor, way above the top of our city, getting, get some free time in while we're here, getting some good shots of the cityscape. It's a tough job, but someone's got to do it. So, on as well, right? Yeah, so that was just a little quick video on kind of a behind the scenes of what it's like on a on a nice capture. But anyway, so that's my time. Hopefully, some of this information was valuable to see kind of like how it's produced. So yeah, so thank you very much.